Morning. We will call to order the April 23rd, 2026 meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Air Quality Management District. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Chair Aquino?
Here.
Director Desmond? Director Dickinson? Director Guerra?
Here.
Director Hume? Director Kennedy?
Here.
Director Lopez-Taff? Director Maple?
Here.
Director Pratton?
Here.
Director Rodriguez? Here. Director Sander? Director Cerna? Director Swen?
Here.
Director Vang? We do not have quorum yet.
We also have Director Middleton here on behalf of Director Lopez-Taff.
Okay.
Are we getting close? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yes.
I think we got it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep.
We got it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. If you'd all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Selena, if you'd please read the board clerk announcements.
Yes. Members of the public are encouraged to observe the meeting in real time at metro14live.saccounty.gov, participate in person via Zoom video or teleconference line, and by submitting written comments to boardclerk@airquality.org. Comments will be delivered to the Board of Directors. Public comments regarding matters under the jurisdiction of the Board of Directors will be acknowledged by the chairperson, distributed to the Board of Directors, and included in the record. This meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Air Quality Management District is live and recorded with closed captioning. It is cablecast on Metro Cable Channel 14, the Local Government Affairs channel on Comcast, and DirecTV U-verse cable systems. Today's meeting replays on Saturday, April 25th, 2026 at 2 p.m. on Metro Cable Channel 14.
Thank you very much. We are going to be taking things a little bit out of order today, just to ensure we can get our business done with the quorum. But we will start with the consent calendar. Do I have any questions from any of my colleagues on the consent calendar? Seeing none, do we have any public comment on the consent calendar?
Not at this time, Chair.
I'll move consent.
Second.
All right, and we have everybody in chamber today, so all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay, that takes care of the consent calendar. We're going to move to item 6.2, fiscal year 26-27 proposed budget and fee schedule. Good morning, Patty.
Yes, good morning, Chair Aquino, members of the board. My name is Patty Kepner. I'm the controller for the district, and I'll be presenting the fiscal year 26-27 proposed budget and fee schedule today. This is the first of 2 public hearings for our budget process. We have a very straightforward agenda today. I'll be going over the proposed budget at a high level for the general fund, which has most of our operating activities in there, our general revenues, salary, wages, benefits, capital, professional services, et cetera. And then I'll be briefly looking at the building fund, and then finally the restricted revenues fund, which is what houses our incentives for the public. Then we'll look at the proposed 26-27 fee schedule for stationary sources fees, and then finally we have recommended board actions. Every year we try to improve the way that we put the budget together in our planning process to make sure that it's streamlined, and this year we really did a deep dive into the budget to make sure that every single expenditure and every revenue was looked at for every account, every department, every division, and we really wanted to put together a realistic budget that totally supported our core operations and projects. So basically we included essential expenditures, things at realistic amounts, lower priority items were excluded, and we did include known cost increases so that it was, we did have some contingency in there. So the whole idea was a thoughtful balance of having some contingency without overbuilding the budget, as well as making sure we had all the funds in there to support the goals for the district next year. Just get a little background on our budget so you get an understanding of where our revenue and expenditures come from. So for our revenue in the general fund, we have about 75% of our revenue is coming from what I call stable sources. So it's stationary sources fees at that 42%, DMV at about 20%, and DMV is authorized through 2034, and we expect that to be extended. And then we have Measure A, which is related to the county sales tax, a little under 10%, and that is effective through 2039. So we have a stable base for those three sources, and then we have our grants. So you can see we're not overly dependent upon grants. For example, for federal grants, it's a smaller percentage than that, actually less than 8%. And then we have state grants, and then the other is primarily interest income. So diversified base, over 70% stable, that each one does not adjust to inflation, only really the stationary sources does. So on the expenditure side, it's probably pretty common that we have about 75% of our expenses related to employee services, which are employee salary, wages, and then the employee benefits. Most of our benefit dollars relate to retiree benefit contributions, not retiree, but the district contributions for retirement, and then our health insurance premiums that the district contributes for employees. Services and supplies, a little less than 20%, and that would be our public outreach, our professional services, capital, rent, all the things that make the district operate are included in that category. And then capital is a very small percentage, and that relates to capital expenditures for our air monitoring stations and lab equipment, air monitoring equipment, and some information systems capital. So since the employee services piece is such a large portion of our budget, spend a moment here on what we're expecting for staffing strategy. So for the fiscal year 25-26 approved FTE staffing, we have 105.8, and we're actually planning 101 for 26-27. That's what our proposal is. So we reduced 5 FTE positions in the budget. In other words, we didn't fund it. And those are vacant positions right now, and we don't have any plans to fill them in fiscal year 26-27. And I did want to emphasize that they are approved positions. So if we do need them, they are approved. They would just need to be funded from other sources. Cost of living is 2.9. This includes the class and comp market adjustments, and then it also includes the internal restructure for the new division, the Office of Community Air Protection and Monitoring, with no overall impact on FTE. So the notable changes in the budget, our revenues are increasing primarily for stationary sources fees. There's a CPI adjustment of 2.72%, and then interest is also increasing year over year. And then our expenditures, the increase, as I said, is in employee services. It's the COLA. The retirement and group insurance contributions actually are increasing at a rate higher than COLA, which I'm sure you see elsewhere. Those continue to march on at a higher rate. And then the decreases in expenditures are professional services. We have grants that are at different points in their development, so they perhaps don't need as much professional services support. And then our area software project is nearing completion, so we have less investment in that for next year. And then finally, rent. We've refined our allocation of rent to the district, and we're charging that based on occupied square footage, and the vacant square footage remains in the building. So here's the budget table, as I call it. So the columns here are, we have the 25-26 approved budget, the 25-26 projected year-end finish, and we do that as part of the budget process. And then the fiscal year 26-27 proposed is in green. So we are proposing 26.9 in revenue for the general fund, 28.6 million of expenditures. And so that is a use of fund balance of 1.7 million. Our ending fund balance is 27.7 million projected at the end of the year, and that is well above our required reserve balance of 120 days of expenditures being funded in the general fund. So we were very pleased with the outcome of this budget, seeing that we do have the revenue increasing, and we've kept our expenditures flat year over year. Just a couple comments on the building fund. It's a much smaller fund than the general or the restricted revenue fund. So the building is still listed for sale or lease. I shouldn't say and, probably just or lease of the vacant space. And our budget assumes that there is no sale or any tenant. So it's conservative in that nature. And again, I mentioned the district is being charged for occupied space, not for the vacant space. And expenditures are not changing materially. And then just that note down there, we do have our final payment on our certificates of participation, which is our debt on the building, and that's going to be paid off next year in 26-27, so that's very good news. Here's the budget table for the buildings. You can see it's much smaller. I'll just focus on the proposed in the green. So you see we have $634,000 of revenue proposed, which is rent revenue, and then $975,000 of expense for a use of fund balance of $342,000, and then a little under $6 million in fund balance. And again, that fund balance is well above our required reserve balance. Moving on to the restricted revenue fund. And I did want to make a comment just on to describe the restricted revenue transactions. And so we get revenue primarily from state grants up front. They are not reimbursement grants, so we will get those monies within 2 years of authorization. And then we have a period of time after that to get those incentives to the community. So there's normal variation in that. And I think right now our two main state grants, state-related grants, have 8 years to make those expenditures. So there's the advance payment, and then we have the expenditures coming after that. So you'll see peaks and valleys, normal variation in that account. Besides our heavy-duty vehicle programs, you can see in the second bullet point the other programs that will be a key focus on the incentives fund for this year, and I think we've heard about those at recent meetings. And then we had a pretty big adjustment to interest income when we took a look at historical trends and forecasting on that, so we did include that in the budget. So here's the budget table for the restricted revenue fund. Again, on the green highlight there, we're proposing $22 million of revenue. That's new awards coming in, $26.5 of expenditures going out to the community for use of fund balance of $4.5 million. That leaves us with an ending fund balance slightly under $76 million. And I did want to make a comment on that. That fund balance has grown over the past few years, primarily because of those dynamics of getting the advance payments up front with the expenditures coming after that. And many of the projects that we currently have in the queue are infrastructure type projects or greening projects, which take longer to develop, and they usually are paid toward the end of that end of the project versus at the front of the project. So that's a little bit on that. We did take a look at a forecast on that restricted revenue balance. This is the fund balance to say where do we think that's going to end up over the next, and this is a 6-year forecast. So what we're looking at here is a continual use of fund balance, and wanted to make you aware of that through the time period here, with an ending fund balance forecasted at about $44 million, and that balance is probably where we would pretty much stay flat and consistent with, because it represents about 2 years of grant funding. So it's kind of the working capital we need to fund the projects that are in the queue. So that's the value or the amount of fund balance we're targeting at this point for the restricted revenues fund. Putting the funds all together, this is the roll-up. So we, with our general, our building fund, which we also call proprietary, the restricted revenue, we have revenues of $49.6 million proposed, expenditures of $56.1, a use of fund balance of $6.5 million, primarily out of the restricted revenue fund, and then a projected fund balance of $109.6, which is very healthy in our fund balance at the end of 2027. So that concludes the review of the budget. Just a moment on the proposed fee schedule. We do adjust our stationary sources fees, the fees that are allowed to be adjusted based on our rules by a standard CPI index, and that is 2.72% is the proposed increase effective July 1, 2026. And it's of note that this is the lowest increase we've had in the last 5 years. So it's again, it's our practice to adjust the fees by our CPI index each year. With that, the summary is we're proposing a sound and balanced budget for 26-27 to make and one that makes sure that we can fund our core operations and projects. So the recommended board actions are to open and close the public hearing on the fiscal year 26-27 proposed budget and fee schedule, provide direction to staff regarding the development of the final budget, and set the public hearing for the adoption of the fiscal year 26-27 budget and fee schedule for May 28th, 2026. And that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to take any questions you may have at this point.
Thank you, Patty. Any questions or feedback for Patty? I have no requests to speak at this time. Okay, then we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Do we have any requests to speak? I don't see anyone. We will close the public hearing. I'll entertain a motion to...
I will move the recommended action.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay, thank you, Patty.
No, thank you.
All right, we got to go quickly back to the consent calendar. We have people coming to this meeting just because they love what we're doing, even if they're not on the board. Councilmember Middleton is not the approved member or alternate for the City of Citrus Heights. So without her, we did not have a quorum when we passed the consent calendar, so we need to redo that. So
I'll move consent.
Thank you. All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain. Okay, thank you very much. We are going to move to closed session now, and then we will come back and do the rest of the items
Correct.
after that. Thank
So I
you.
can have all board members go to the side conference room.
Got it. Meeting, we have nothing to report out from closed session. Selena, I believe that takes us to item 6.1, vacancies in recruitment and retention efforts calendar year 2025. Who's up? Denise.
We have Denise Booth in chambers to give a presentation.
Good morning, Chair Aquino and members of the board. My name is Denise Booth. I'm the HR officer for the district, and I'm here to talk about AB 2561, vacancy and recruitment and retention efforts. So per the Myers-Milius-Brown Act, public agencies must annually report at a public hearing on items involving vacancy status. We need to describe our ongoing recruitment and retention efforts, and then outline any policy or procedure changes that may impact hiring. This all needs to be done prior to the adoption of the budget. And the Sacramento Air District Employees Association, SADIA, was asked if they'd like to present today, and they respectfully declined, but they are given the opportunity to do so. So at the end of 2025, we had 8 vacancies. 7 were in the SADIA General Unit for a vacancy rate of 9.7%. And 1 was in the supervisory unit for a vacancy rate of 6.3. Considering our unrepresented positions, we have 106 of those positions in 2025 with 8 vacancies, so a vacancy rate of 7.5% overall for the organization. And you may be asking yourselves, what were those 8 vacancies? Well, we had 2 because of internal promotions. 2 were new positions not yet filled, and 4 were vacant due to typical employee turnover. And as Patty Kepner reported earlier, of those 8 vacant positions, 5 are recommended to be unfunded for the 26-27 budget year. And since we're reporting for 2025, I will note that the 1 supervisory vacancy has since been filled internally with a promotion, and the 3 remaining vacancies are currently being recruited. The district does not anticipate any change to the recruitment or hiring process. The process includes an approved request to fill by Dr. Ayala, a lateral transfer posting period, external posting if we need to, multi-round interview process, background and reference checks, and then, of course, a job offer. So in 2025, we only had 2 recruitments. It was the lightest recruitment year since I've been with the district, and the time to fill for those was an average of 57 days. And our retention efforts focus on maintaining competitive salaries and benefits, fostering open and transparent communication, offering hybrid work schedules, supporting training and career development opportunities, and then, of course, strong forward-thinking leadership to guide us. So these efforts contribute to a stable and experienced workforce for the district. 43% of our employees have been with the district for more than 15 years. Our average tenure with the district is 12 years. So with all of that, we don't anticipate any changes to our recruitment process this next year. And that's the extent of my presentation. Do you have any questions for me?
Thank you, Denise. Any questions for Denise? Okay, we will open the public hearing. Do we have any requests to speak?
Not at this time.
Okay, then we will close the public hearing. And that's it. We don't need to take any action, correct? Okay, thank you, Denise. All right, that takes us to item 7.1, public comments on draft community emissions reduction program. Janice.
Great. Good morning, Chair Aquino, members of the board. My name is Janice Lamp-Snyder, Director of the Community Air Protection Program. Today I'm going to be doing our presentation with Mr. Paul Philly here, we're going to be tag teaming the presentation. He's going to be addressing some local jurisdiction comments. So for the past few months, we've been bringing you pieces of the Community Air emission reduction plan. And today we're going to narrowly focus on the public comments that we received on that plan and how we've addressed them.
There we go.
Next slide, please. Oh. Thank you. So just wanted to give a broad overview of the total comments that we received. It was 98 comments over 19 submissions. They came in various different forms through a public workshop, through emailed letters, and emails from the public in general. So some general comments that we got, we did get a lot of support for the plan. And a lot of them were supporting the tree canopy as well as safe and resilient streets. We also did get one comment of opposition that was providing some concern on the funding allocations for tree canopy in relative to other priorities. And so the comment also expressed a concern that it did not represent community priorities and suggested that we restart the process. We did have this conversation with our steering committee members and for this one particular comment. And the steering committee did reaffirm that these they've done a lot of work with the community, and they do feel that that does represent community priorities, and it remains a priority for them. In addition to that, the funding allocation comment was addressed through the conversation of there was concerns about whether or not that particular funding was, the concern was whether or not the city, that there were other, that there was challenges, that there were similar efforts in the county and the city for tree canopy. And that historically has been a challenge for these jurisdictions and partners to maintain the survivability of the tree canopy. And there are specific provisions in our grant programs that does allow to support infrastructure and support survivability of these trees. And so, we were able to talk through that with the steering committee, and they felt like that had addressed the comment.
And Janice, quick question.
Mm-hmm.
The comment in opposition, that organization had representation on the steering committee, correct?
Correct.
And their representative supported the communities program?
The representative was there to develop the strategies. They had maintained a abstain vote for the plan.
Okay, thank you.
All right. There were other questions, other comments, such as clarifying questions on technical chapters, such as like, can you share with us how you got the foundation for economic growth and population? There was also some thoughts from the steering committee about including co-benefits of the strategies instead of in addition to direct emission reductions. And then there was some questions on how can residents and community organizations continue to participate in supporting the implementation of the plan. Some specific comments on strategies. As I expressed, there was lots of support for increasing tree canopies, safe and resilient streets. There was also some questions on how are we going to implement the increasing tree canopy strategy? How are we going to have a good tracking mechanism? What are some of the metrics? And so I think how we were able to address that is that because the funding and the projects have not yet identified, there will be mechanisms during the implementation process to identify and hold the project partners to identifying those metrics as well. There were the last three here was about school idling enforcement. There is a strategy in the plan that talks about reducing idling in schools. And there was some encouragement from the public on, hey, signs are great, but is there any way for there to be actual enforcement of idling around schools? Idling in general, light duty idling, is permissible. And so we will be working very closely with the school to identify to see if there's other possible ways of encouraging non-idling in those areas. There was also a comment on bus stop modifications. And the comment was about that there may be more efficient ways of doing the bus stop lines where there may be less bus stops to make it more efficient. And there's lots and lots of things that I think goes into SAC-RT's plan in terms of how they decide how many bus stops. And so we had encouraged the community member, and as we're working with RT, sharing with them the concerns that were brought up during this process. And then the last one I have here is identifications of additional partners. So in the plan, there's an area where we've identified certain partners for each of the different strategies, and there wanted to be some space on, are there additional opportunities for partners to join us? And the answer is absolutely, that there is. These are the ones that I think are currently initially identified, but there's certainly opportunities as we're implementing the plan to bring in these partners to join us in this effort. With that, I'm going to pass it to Mr. Philly to talk about comments from local jurisdictions.
Thank you. Paul Philly, Transportation and Climate Change. The vast majority of total comments did come from the local jurisdictions, City of Sacramento, County of Sacramento, City of Elk Grove. And we really, really wanted to make sure that this community plan that crosses so many different boundaries included everybody who has some authority or say or implementation process, so that this can be a very cohesive and implementable plan. A big part of that was identifying all of the efforts that are happening over the next 5 years, such as climate action plans, community development plans, corridor plans, transit plans, those pieces, and making sure that those were included into the SERP and that they all work together. There was a lot of commitments to collaboration, and I do want to say that City, County, and Elk Grove City staff spent a lot of time and effort in making sure that the different department heads and different authorities were aware of what was going on and making sure that the plan worked with those upcoming events. Probably the biggest change that happened between draft and what is before you is AB 98, which is a state law that looks at warehouse and truck routing and making sure that our timeline for having the community look at this lines up with state mandates and the city and county and Elk Grove's work on this. And so the steering committee did vote to change that timeline so that we're going to be moving up the AB 98 truck study to be consistent with county, city, and Elk Grove processes, and trying to do that in a more community-wide focus instead of just within our individual lines on a page. There is also a lot of discussion about the 50% tree canopy goal. in the sense that not every location can support 50% tree canopy, and in some places you want higher, in some places it's lower. And so we really we added in flexibility, because we know that different land, like you do not want tree canopy over a soccer field, as an example. So we're looking at the extent feasible and making sure that the locations selected are appropriate to community plans, to the jurisdictional guidelines, making sure that there's going to be appropriate maintenance procedures, and it's consistent with the urban forestry master plan that the city of Sacramento has recently passed and the one that the county is currently working on. And with that, I will ask for the next slide, and I will kick it back over to Director Lam Snyder.
All right. So with the 98 comments that we received, there were a few main updates based on the comments. First, all of the comments and the responses were shared with the steering committee, and a lot of them were discussed. And so what we did was that we added an executive summary of the strategy so that we can get to the point for the community up front in the plan. We have also listed targets for listing all the co-benefits of the strategies. As Paul had mentioned, we merged 2 strategies into one to get into alignment with the timing of AB 98. Along with that, we reallocated the incentive funding to the truck route study strategy. So the final draft of the SERP is going to come before you at the May board meeting. And we've, as I mentioned, we've discussed it with the steering committee, made updates, and it's going to be coming. It was approved by the steering committee in March, and we'll be bringing it to you for board action next month. With that, I'll conclude our presentation.
Thank you very much. Vice Chair Maple.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you so much for the presentation. I know we had more detailed comments on this in a previous board meeting, so I won't go into depth. But I just wanted to really appreciate you and the staff for working with the City of Sacramento on the comments in our letter. And I heard from the staff that they were really pleased with the teamwork and that. So I'm looking forward to that and appreciate all the work on this.
All right, thank you. I don't see any other requests to speak, so thank you both. And we will move on to the Air Pollution Control Officer's report.
Thank you. I'll make my remarks quick, and looking forward to May and having the final SERP so that we can pass it on to the state. A couple meetings ago, Director Rodriguez asked for some information on air pollution and public health, and our communications office put together a very nice, accessible flyer for you all. You should have it in your packets. Put it on your social media, on your websites, take it to your community events. It's meant to be accessible. But the bottom line is the evidence is pretty compelling and fairly well established. Air pollution and noses don't mix. And to the extent that you can reduce that, it's a good thing. And then the next thing I want to comment to you, simply because it literally just came out yesterday, the American Lung Association has been doing for 27 years a state-of-the-art report. And I think it's a wonderful piece simply because it raises awareness across California and the U.S. about the importance of controlling air pollution for public health. I particularly like this one because, and they gracefully invited me to be on a press event when they released this a couple days ago, but I particularly like this one because when it comes to ozone pollution, the Sacramento region, the greater region, we dropped to number 17 on the list of the worst air pollution in the country. You may recall that we had been as high as 5 at one point, so now we're 17. And then on the list of particle pollution, we're not even on them. So again, to me is again just a testament of what we can continue to do with your support and obviously the region, the businesses and the residents. So I just wanted to highlight that for you. You're going to read about it in the news if you haven't already seen that. So that concludes my APCO report.
Thank you. Director Rodriguez?
Dr. Yell, I just want to say how much I appreciate this. I think educating the public is really important because oftentimes people don't realize the correlation of how we live our lives has so much to do with, our health. And even, now that I've been more, I think, exposed to environmental cancers that affect people. And so I will definitely take this to my community meetings and ensure that I share that with our constituents. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Guerra?
Yeah, thank you. And then I appreciate you participating in the press conference. One thing that I would ask is that, particularly when the Air District is speaking at different events, to take a step forward and think about, is there a board member that fits with that particular event? For example, if we're talking about particulates and it has to do with ag industry, well, then maybe we want to look at some of our board members from either Galt or Elk Grove or the South County or whatnot, or if it has to do with the industrial manufacturing area or whatnot. I think that adding that voice from a local perspective with the scientists, I think is important. So that's all, Chair.
Thank you. Director Suen?
Thank you, Chair. I just want to add a point of emphasis. I agree with everything my colleagues just said, and just want to emphasize that air quality drives everything. When we talk about transportation plans, look at our land use plans, it's all, for our residents looking at home, it's all to meet air quality standards and goals. And Director Rodriguez really hit on the nose on the head about our health and the rise in cancer rates and things that are affected by this. So the importance of your work can't be overstated. But I also want to take the opportunity to thank you and express our appreciation in the way that you're trying to implement these policies that can not harm everyday businesses and households. And so that balancing act is very tough. And so we appreciate your work in all this. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. That concludes the comments. That takes us to item number 10, board ideas, comments, and AB 1234 reports. Anyone have anything to share? Seeing none, that takes us to item 11. Selena, any requests for public comment for items not on the agenda? Okay, thank you. Then we will adjourn at 10:18. Thank you, everyone.